Welcome to this program on British Newsflash magazine. My name is Andrew P. Harrow with another story from Greater London, success and business in the United Kingdom. What makes a good human resource manager and what makes a good employee? How to deal with people? I've been talking to the manager and the owner of DBX Marketing, Danny Hill, which has 1,000 women on his books, which are working for his business and for his company. Danny Hill is the managing director of DBX Marketing in Sudbury Hill, London. He knows what makes a good human resource manager, and he knows also how to find the right people for the right job. But he knows more. He knows how good people can find a really good job. You have 1,000 women on your books. What does it mean to have women on your books?
These are individuals. They don't have to be female, although all but about 4 are. It's mainly involved in the cosmetics, fragrance, retail sector. We do promotions, so the aesthetical appearance of people is quite important, and mainly women, because women have an interest in makeup and fragrance and those sort of things. But it's also, if I were a woman in a department store looking for an eyeliner or a mascara or a foundation, I would be very reluctant to speak to a man. I did actually work in stores myself selling cosmetics and fragrance. Fragrance was easy. Women did not want to speak to me about skin problems, about how to conceal pimples and dark circles under the eyes. They're quite happy though to speak to other women about that sort of thing. So, and also on the promotion side, there's a certain type of woman, but I think it suits women because of having families. They can work certain hours, certain days, in between. If they're students at college, it's a great way to earn some extra money on their 2 days off they get every week, or during the summer or the off-term times. So it does suit all sorts of people, but it mainly seems to be an area that's more suitable to women. So it's mainly women who are on the books for those reasons.
You're the manager of your own company, and you make a decision which woman might work for you or might not work for you. How you make your decisions, and based upon what kind of philosophy or strategy?
I don't really make the decisions, although I do. It sounds quite weird. The actual personnel themselves would make the decision. I would make the decision as to which clients to put them forward to. If you've got a high-end brand of cosmetics, you put different people on that to a young, fun and funky brand of cosmetics. So you have to look at the individual, the aesthetics, their personalities, also the location. Certain stores in places like Knightsbridge, if they're an Arabic speaker, it's helpful. If you've got someone in the more Oxford Street who speaks French, German or Italian, that's helpful. There's a huge Chinese, which is Cantonese and Mandarin population in Manchester, Liverpool and London. So if you've got people who can speak those languages, it's helpful. But at the end of the day, it's about enthusiasm for the client, for the enthusiasm for the products that they're promoting. That's the main prerequisite I look for.
How you deal with such a huge amount of people? What's the good way to keep them on your books?
Keep them busy. If they're busy, I pay very well for the industry. It's not a huge amount of money by a lot of other industry standards, but for the cosmetics industry, I pay £60 a day. We help them set themselves up as independent contractors, so they're responsible for their own tax and compliance issues. Means they can get tax relief on part of their rent or mortgage, their travel expenses, any kit they have to buy in terms of aprons, cosmetics brushes, any cosmetics themselves, to get obviously concessions on their mobile phone bills, any stationery, computers, that sort of thing. So it does work beneficial if we can set them up as an independent contractor and they invoice us. It also keeps our compliance issues down. It makes it that we don't have to have payroll clerks working out PAYE and national insurance. So it does make it cheaper for us, which means we can charge our clients less and give our staff and personnel more without compromising the service that we offer. So keep your staff busy and listen to them. I think if they have a grievance or an idea, take it on board. There's lots of people, some fantastic input into what we're doing. The question is if you get time to listen to them, take it on board and act on it if possible.
How do you get the people on board?
Word of mouth, really. I probably receive about 10 to 20 calls a week on average of people inquiring if I got any work. They know someone who's worked for me, or they work on a counter next door to one of the counters we work on. There's a few websites we can be found on. I had a whole spate of inquiries from Poland, and apparently we were listed as a good company to work for in the UK for Polish immigrants, and we found some very good staff on there, some very good staff.
How do you deal with people, especially your contractors?
As honestly and as openly as possible. It's sometimes hard not, if you're having a bad day in your personal life and in work life or whatever, it's sometimes very difficult not to let that come across and be 100% professional. I am guilty of that, but I suppose it proves that I'm human and I have a life too. And you know, I think a lot of these companies, you see the managing directors drive around in Porsches and Ferraris, really nice suits and everything, and you know they're making an extortionate amount of money out of other people's endeavours who are not making so much money but working very hard for it. We try to be a little bit more fair and just, shall we say. The girls, at the end of the day, the girls do the work. They carry my reputation, they carry my goodwill, so they get rewarded as much as I can. So, you know, I mean, I'm not a multi-millionaire, but we'll give it time and we'll take as many people with us as we can.
Well, you've got your skills from your knowledge from how to deal with people, how to keep them on your books, that they love to work for you.
When I was working in Australia as a strategist for a bank, there was a gentleman by the name of Jeff Wilson who worked with me very closely. He was the operations director, and he taught me one very important thing, and he said all the time, and what he used to say to me was, the trick and secret of management is not making people do things, but making people want to do things. And I think if you follow that ethos, then you can't bully or force someone to do something against their will, and if they do succumb and do it against their will, they will not do it to the best of their ability. So you have to make people want to do things, and if they want to do it, they will do it well.
What's a quite interesting idea, and how do you make people want to do things?
I suppose it's how you look at things. I like to keep things simple. I think if you start overcomplicating and starting to look at everyone as individuals, that can help, but at the same time you've got to be quite broad. I believe, and I might be wrong, but I personally believe there's only three types of people. There's the people who are motivated by financial gain and financial reward. So you offer them extra money, you offer help with travel. That would normally do it for that sort of person. Some people want a title. They want to be a supervisor or a manager. They want that career path. Again, if that's what their motivation is, then and they're suitable candidates for that sort of role, then it's not a problem. Most people would actually fit into the category of just feeling valued, a pat on the back to feel that they are appreciated for their efforts. And it's very economical for me to ring up one of my staff and say, thank you so much for the effort, really appreciate that, you've done a fantastic job, keep it up. I think a lot of managers don't do that often enough. And I check every sales figures that come in for every one of my staff. I check, and if they've done over 500, 600, 700, 800 pounds a day, I'll ring them up, congratulate them, thank them very much for their effort, tell them how happy the client is. If they do, an exceptional amount, over 1,000 or 2,000 pounds in a day, I'll see if I can arrange for the client to give them some products for nothing. I'll give them a bit of a pay bonus. We organise Christmas parties where we give out awards and give out presents and prizes to the best performers. It's not complicated and it might be a little bit tacky at times, but the girls appreciate it, and at the end of the day everyone wants to feel valued and as though they're an integral member of the team.
So people, especially in your business, women, are related to the success of your business, of your company. Is that right?
I'm only as good as my staff, as any. I mean, it doesn't matter if you take any company, if you're making manufacturing items, it doesn't matter if you can have the best warehouses and the best fleet to deliver the products, the best equipment, the best ingredients. If you imagine a kitchen, you can have the best produce, the best tables with the best view and the best waiters. If you've got an average chef, you're never going to be better than average. So your success is always directly related to the people, and the people are your biggest asset or your biggest liability.
How much important are CVs, resumes to you when you make the decision this woman shall work for your business?
To me personally, not at all. That sounds weird. I think most companies put so much emphasis on resumes. Half the time I get them, I don't even bother reading them. I'll have a quick scan over if they've got relevant experience. Normally I'll give people a phone call. I don't actually meet a lot of my staff. However, other members of my staff do meet them or train them and interview them. I tend to go off gut instinct, which is not the best way, but so far it hasn't let me down too many times. And you can talk to someone and you can get a feel for the sort of person they are. And for the industry I'm in, if they can, a lot of people get very nervous by a managing director of a company contacting them, calling them up, asking them questions directly. If they can handle a phone conversation with me, they can handle speaking to Mrs. Smith on a makeup counter.
If some lady or woman might call you and gonna tell you, I've never done this job before and no experience in selling fragrance or other cosmetic products, how you would deal with this woman?
It's not really relevant whether they've had experience in this particular industry or not before. I've got an advantage. I deal with women and I deal with women's products. So chances are that the women that call me for a job actually use products very similar to the products we're going to be promoting. Cosmetics, fragrance, skincare products. If it's a promotions job, then it pretty much goes entirely on aesthetics. If they've got the right look, slim figures, they don't mind wearing slightly sexy clothes, if not very sexy clothes, and if they meet that criteria, you then ask yourself, have they got the right personality? Bubbly, outgoing, able to approach people, and that really does apply across, I think, in all areas that we operate. The personality comes forward. They have to be outgoing, they have to be bubbly, they have to be happy, smiley people, and if they've got that, I can't teach people to do that. They can do it or they can't. One of the things we call it traffic stopping, and that is working on a counter, approaching strangers and asking them to come over, try some products, sit down, have a makeover. I can't do it, and no one can teach me to do it. You can either do it or you can't. There was a band, I don't know if you remember them, called Zieg Zieg Sputnik back in 90s, early mid-90s, 80s actually I think. Martin Degville was the singer, and he basically got a collection of men together, and they all looked good, and not one of them could play an instrument. And when he was asked, why did you choose these people, he said, I can't teach people to look good, but I can teach them to play guitar. And that really sums it up. I can't teach people to have a personality, but I can teach them to sell makeup.
If a huge company would hire you, shall BBC, Microsoft, no matter what kind of company, to find their employees, to find the right personnel for specific tasks for jobs, would you agree to get this position?
As an independent contractor, I take it on board, but not as an employee. I am not a good employee. I'm not a good employee at all. I've got far too many ideas of my own and far too many bad habits of my own. And no, but I'm a great independent contractor because I can bring initiative, I can bring decisive nature, I can bring interpretation of situations and come up with solutions for those situations. So, no, I'm not a great employee.
Would you be able to find them the right personnel employees?
I would be able to do two things. I would be able to find them the people that I feel that they would need. However, I might not necessarily be able to find them the people that they feel they need. A lot of companies out there have a certain idea of the sort of person they want, and they probably haven't always got it right. There's a lot of companies out there who talk about Microsoft. They probably look entirely on technical ability, which is a taught medium. You can teach people to write programs, you can teach people to assemble hardware, you can teach people to install systems. However, you can't teach people to have the personality to integrate into a team. You can't teach people to be the sort of person you need to give instructions to for them to carry them out and be able to use initiative, but not use too much initiative. So there's certain things there. I think if I was going to take on a client in that field, they would have to predefine and agree with me on what they want. That's my consultancy background though. I would actually break down the whole project into its tightest detail and come up with set criteria. I would focus on the personality, they would focus on the technical ability.
What makes a good human resources manager?
Someone who's thick-skinned, someone who has a sense of humour, someone who doesn't take anything personally, someone who has a genuine interest in the company and the individual. I see myself more as the step in between. I'm representing my own company, but I'm representing my clients and I'm representing my staff, and I have to find a happy medium. So someone who can see more than just their own desk, someone who can see beyond the parameters of their own office. You have to see what the individual's doing and what their motivation is. You have to see what the requirements of the company you work for are and the desires, needs and requirements of your clients.
There are around about 1 million unemployed people in this country. Would you be able to find them a job?
Well, I think there's 1.2 million unemployed, and I think there's about 800,000 jobs out there that are on the field. So I don't see why someone couldn't find them jobs. There'd still be 400,000 people left over though. but don't know. There's a lot of people who are probably classify themselves as unemployable. I don't agree with that. I think there is a job for everyone, and I think everyone has strengths, everyone has weaknesses. I have strengths and I have weaknesses. I think a lot of people have paid far too much attention to their weaknesses and not developed an interest in anything. I think if you've got an interest in something and a desire, then the ability to succeed in that will always come to the fruition as such. So there are jobs for everyone. I think a lot of people, I didn't find out what I was good at until I was about 35. It took me a long time to work out what I wanted to do with my life. And the thing that really brought that home to me was having a child, which is a weird, from my perspective, a weird motivation for a career change.
7 tips for someone who's looking for a job. What would you
7.
do? Yeah.
Get out of bed before 11 o'clock in the morning and look. Talk to people. Be friendly. I once had a row with my brother. He once said to me, "Why do you say you can do this and you can do that and you can do this?" And I said to him, people then say to me, "Go on, prove it." And I've got myself a chance, I've got myself an opportunity. He would say, "I can't do this and I can't do that," and they would believe him. So he never got the chance, he never got the opportunity. So I think definitely go out, talk to people and have confidence in your own abilities and get yourself the chances. Presentation, whether it be verbal, appearance, aesthetically, written, make yourself stand out. I get a lot of CVs through and a lot of them look the same. But if they come in, if it came in on pink handmade paper with floral ribbons sprayed in perfume, I'd read it. If it came in on, leather skins, I would read it because it's different, it stands out from the crowd. If it's just 4 sheets of A4 stapled together in Times New Roman, size 12, normal font, it's just going to disappear with all the others. So presentation, understand your strengths, accept your weaknesses, know the company that you're going to work for, know what not necessarily what their industry is or what sort of company they are, but understand the individuals inside that company. Everything written about a company is written by someone in the company or directed by someone in the company, so it should give you an insight into what that company is about, because everyone in that company at a managerial level has agreed to those words describing what they're doing. So it should give you an insight. Network. I think networking is so underrated in this country. You can go into a bar and talk to someone, and I found loads of jobs, loads of the staff and clients in my past, all in coffee shops, bars, nightclubs, restaurants, football matches, gymnasiums, all over the place. So get out there, get your face seen, talk to people. I have no idea how many that is.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
This was our story about what makes a good human resource manager and how to find and deal with good employees. This was an interview with the manager and company owner of DBX Marketing in Sudbury Hill, Denny Hill. I wish you all the best. Take care. Thanks for joining this program. This was Andrew P. Harrow for British Newsflash Magazine on www.britishnewsflash.org.